Hello, welcome. I'm Ward Johnsmeyer. I lead business development at Swappa, and with me is my friend Brennan Zelener, co-founder of WholeCell.io.
Hey
And
guys.
wanted to basically what we're doing today is a presentation that it's a demo, and we're going to cover some concepts of some things that we've been doing together. And just for the sake of transparency, this is a re-recording. The original broadcast aired last week at some point, and due to some issues with my computer, we wanted to, and the call dropping a few times, we wanted to just do this cleanly and run through it just for the sake of your time and efficiency when you're going through and looking at it. So with that, we'll go ahead and get things set up. But yeah, today we're covering an integration. It was the first integration that was built between Swappa and WholeCell, and specifically it's for our standard marketplace where consumers come on and buy, and that market will exceed 100 million in seller proceeds in 2021. And so we're always trying to find ways to make it easier for businesses to create listings on Swappa. We know our fees are really favorable relative to others, and our platform does a great job in terms of the audience that we bring and just our overall process. But we needed some help in making it easier for businesses. And when we're kind of looking around trying to figure out how to do that, WholeCell was a very clear answer to that, to help complement some things that we were doing. And so basically what we're going to be covering is what's Swappa, what is WholeCell, why are we working together, how can we make it easier for a business that's creating listings. And so the integration that we have today covers primarily our power seller tools so that you can create many listings at once rather than just one at a time. And so I just wanted to call that out so that it was clear and people understood the focus of what we're going to go over. So Brendan, I don't know if I missed anything, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And
I think you got it.
Yeah, I've got a new computer going here, so no time like the present to try to do that. So, all right.
If for any reason you disappear, Ward, I'm going to be all by myself.
I know. Yeah. It's like, cue the music.
No one entertained.
Yeah. So can you see my screen okay?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Oh boy, here we go. Jesus. Screen one. Is that doing it?
It is not. It might be. You might have to, in the new Mac OS, you have to approve the screen share, and then you're going to have to restart. If you're in Chrome or Safari, you might have to restart them. No, we're up now.
Okay, all right. Well, we're not going to. You know what? We're not going to do any takes here. This is all live.
Live. Doing it live.
Making it happen. Okay. So, all right. So anyway, I just want to kind of get started here. So, again, the whole theme is making it easy for power sellers, making listing easy. And we're going to go through that, and we'll spend a lot of time going through the demo and specifics on how to do that. Just a lot easier for everyone to learn just seeing it live. Just at a high level, Swappa and WholeCell, we're both platforms in the mobile device industry. So Swappa is focused on marketplace specifically, and we have a B2B exchange. So that's a B2B marketplace. And then we also have our primary marketplace, which is the, what most people know, Swappa.com. Just individuals or businesses can list phones and buy them. And there's tens of thousands of devices at any moment for people to go and purchase. WholeCell is specific to inventory management. And so bringing those two things together, their ability to save you time from an inventory management perspective, and then some of the other things that they're doing in terms of e-commerce, multi-channel support. You combine those two things together, and we'll show you specifically, but you combine those two things together, and we think we've definitely kind of dovetailed together, but we both have the same intent, and that's to make it easy for you, and particularly for people who need multi-channel support, or just if you've taken the time to put your inventory in WholeCell, why would you do it a second time in Swappa when you can just already leverage the work that you've done? So very quickly, Brennan, can you still hear me? I want to make sure my computer hasn't dropped.
You haven't dropped yet, Ward.
Oh, what a miracle! All right. So what is Swappa? So Swappa, I mentioned we have the B2B marketplace, which is new, but primarily we're a user-to-user marketplace for buying and selling used tech. Obviously, we work with a lot with businesses. So in many cases it's business to consumer selling, and so but our main focus is just bringing buyers and sellers of any kind together in a simple, transparent platform that's easy to use. We're focused on safety and providing the best option for verified used mobile devices in the United States. And that's been our mission from the beginning. Our biggest team at Swappa is the moderation team, who reviews listings to make sure that the things that get listed are properly categorized and able to be listed and sold. So, but I think a key takeaway for sellers is that, as I mentioned, we'll go over 100 million in gross merchandise value, seller proceeds, whatever you want to call it, this year, and would love for those on this call to participate in that in a significant way and do well for themselves and for their business. So with that, Brendan, I'll turn it over to you for an intro on WholeCell for those that don't know.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Ward. So yeah, for anyone that hasn't heard of WholeCell before, WholeCell is an inventory management system that is built for device sellers, and it's built by my co-founder Harry and I. We've had experience in this industry for each of about a decade now. And the goal of WholeCell is to make it incredibly easy to track serialized inventory and all of the different processes that you have in your device reselling business, be it unlocking phones, repairing phones, etc. WholeCell can track those activities and then provide a connection between your inventory management system and the marketplaces that you sell on. And that's one of the reasons we're really excited to be working with Swappa. Is Swappa is the marketplace for serialized devices, and they've been that for a long time now. And so this marriage between WholeCell and Swappa makes a whole lot of sense, because in WholeCell you're tracking your inventory by IMEI. It's built for device resellers, and it tracks each item specifically and in a serialized manner by IMEI. And when you send stuff over to Swappa, they're keeping track of the IMEI, where other marketplaces wouldn't be doing that. So yeah, WholeCell is a inventory management system specifically designated for device resellers. It's got the ability to track serialized the IMEI or ESN of each device in your inventory. It has the ability to print out labels with the IMEI and a barcode, and you can scan them and see the history of every device that you add. And it's got all the traditional things that you get from another inventory system. If you're using a more generic inventory system, you've got purchase orders and sales orders and invoices and RMAs. And so it provides this kind of standard structure of an inventory system to the specifics of a device selling business, and particularly used devices, because used devices vary in condition, they vary in what could be wrong with them, and every device seller has a different way of tracking that. So what WholeCell does is customized to the way that each device reseller kind of runs their business already. So it's got options for everything. So that's what WholeCell is.
Yeah, and just two comments that I wanted to make. One was that I'm excited about the other direct integrations that you guys are doing, just because we know that for a lot of our sellers, Swappa is a primary channel. They have a great opportunity to get more favorable fees and various other things that we feel like we do that are best in class. But competition is good, and we know that many of our sellers are multi-channel, and so the ability for them to be served at a high level with with the direct integrations that you're working on is, I think, really, really great. And the other is that even though some of these say coming soon, my understanding, and Brendan, correct me, is that with ShipStation, if you connect ShipStation to some of these other marketplaces that you're using currently, you can bring your orders directly back into WholeCell and get a pretty wide range of functionality. So there's a great interim solution using ShipStation that's going to give you a lot of efficiency gains, but longer term, some of the direct integrations will be even more powerful. So I don't know if that's worth mentioning at all, Brendan. I know I'm just kind of hitting the surface on that, but I think it might be important to some.
No, I think it is, and it kind of opens this opportunity to talk about briefly as I can, the fact that for an inventory platform and selling platform, a marketplace, the integration between those things usually has two parts. It has the inventory system is keeping the marketplace up to date with all the listings, what quantities of inventory are available for sale. And that's what's beautiful about multi-channel solutions is if you're selling on multiple marketplaces, which most sellers are, those marketplaces aren't really talking to each other. So your inventory system needs to keep the marketplaces all in sync with how much inventory of each product you have available for sale. And so that is what our direct integrations will be doing, is that piece of things. But we have for a lot of sellers, one of the most tedious tasks is bringing the orders that happen on Swappa, eBay, Backmarket, Amazon into their inventory system to fulfill those orders and just to track which specific IMEI went out for which e-commerce order. And you can do that right now, even though we've got some integrations that are coming soon. You can do that for all the marketplaces that you connect to ShipStation. Our ShipStation integration is live and has been for, I think, over a year at this point. And all of the orders that you have coming through any of the channels that you have integrated with ShipStation, those orders can be brought through ShipStation back into WholeCell. So that component of an e-commerce integration already exists for any channel that integrates with ShipStation. So
yeah, and it should be many of them too. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, I appreciate that. So today, just as we talked about what's Swappa and what is WholeCell, and we talk about incoming inventory, I wanted to give you a clearer picture of what that is, and then get down into it with some examples, with a demo. But on the left, the graphic here is, it's fairly simple, but it's intended to be. Incoming inventory is something that we built at Swappa that allows you to create inventory multiple ways, and we'll go through that. You can either add an item manually, you could import a group of IMEIs, ESNs, or you could import a spreadsheet, and that's all well and good. Those are things that will help you and save you time. But when you then take it a step further and you utilize WholeCell and the inventory, that you've already listed, that you've already taken the time to properly categorize and get a wide range of details for, it's far easier to use that because it will stay in sync. So we'll go through each piece and show you, the benefits and how each works. But suffice it to say that when you're ditching the spreadsheet, so to speak, and using an integration like what we're going to go through today, you've really reduced the chance for errors, especially if you've got a handful of people on your team doing things. Kind of keeps a nice concerted effort going, and so just a really nice productivity gain, and that's what we're excited about, and look forward to showing you that. So we'll take it through a couple different ways, but and then the graphic on the right, Brennan, I'll kind of defer to you, but I'm excited because you can kind of see inventory flowing, and then you can see the orders and the shipments. So I don't know if you want to dig in more deeply on that, but it's I think it does a good job illustrating the flow of how it works.
Yeah, there's not much to add to it. I think what I love about this graphic is it makes it very clear and simple in one visual that this is how the WholeCell and Swappa incoming inventory integration works together. So this is how the two platforms work together. You take the inventory that you're already tracking in WholeCell and you can export it to Swappa very easily. And then on the Swappa side, you can create listings from that incoming inventory. And then when those listings sell, the orders get imported from Swappa back to WholeCell. And then you go in and you fulfill those orders in WholeCell and you mark them as shipped. Maybe you're shipping them with ShipStation. So you create the shipping label through ShipStation. That gets updated in WholeCell automatically via the WholeCell ShipStation integration, and then the shipment information gets sent back to Swappa. So what's cool about this is it's really a full feature integration that kind of automates a lot of the information sharing of selling stuff on Swappa and using WholeCell to manage your inventory.
Yeah, and just the net effect is saving you a significant amount of time, and that's what we're going for. We don't want sellers who having to be make their listing process any more labor intensive than it needs to be. So this is a way to massively reduce that time investment. So we're excited about that. Brendan, I'll turn this one over to you. This is the famous Zeepzor phone corp, and I think it's a good example of the order component. So
Yeah, this is the meat of, I think, what we were trying to achieve with this demo is to describe why would you want to use the WholeCell and Swappa integration, and what does it actually do functionally to save you time. So this is the screenshot that I have on the right is one of our demo accounts, Zeepsorp Phone Corp. And what you can see, kind of, it's a little bit pixelated, but basically this is a list of sales orders that are in a WholeCell account. And all we've done here, we haven't created these sales orders manually. What we've done is turned on the Swappa integration, and these orders have just imported over to WholeCell from Swappa. So one of the incredible time-saving elements is if you're selling a lot of listings on Swappa, it used to be a kind of a pain to go in and you sell the listings on Swappa. Customers are buying your phones on Swappa, and you go over to your WholeCell account. You got to create, add the customer, add the inventory that they purchased, add the price that they purchased it for, what quantity, etc. Now you can just connect your WholeCell account to Swappa, and as your listings sell, those sales orders get imported automatically to WholeCell, and they just auto import whenever they happen. So that's a huge time saver right there. What we're not really showing is how did you get those listings onto Swappa? Well, if you have the inventory in your WholeCell account, you can now just select through all the different inventory items that I think Ward is going to show us in a little bit, and export them to Swappa. So that saves you a ton of time in just kind of copying, pasting information about the inventory, or literally, some people are physically going around in their warehouse, grabbing the list of device, or grabbing a group of devices they want to list on Swappa, and physically going through them and listing them. And this saves them from that. The shipment component is when you're fulfilling an order that's come through from Swappa, that shipment that I mentioned before, as you're adding the shipping label into WholeCell, that's automatically syncing over to Swappa and notifying your customer that their item is being shipped. So that's really neat. We've got automatic inventory sync that I just kind of went over. And then multi-channel support from WholeCell is kind of a behind the scenes thing that you don't normally see. But say you're selling on Swappa, eBay, and WholeCell. You've got a wholesale side of your business and maybe even a retail side of your business. What's neat about this is if you're going out and selling inventory in different places, you're keeping the other channels. You're not overselling inventory. You're keeping all the channels synced up with what inventory you have available for sale. And if there are any problems, if you've oversold something, you're getting notified about it way earlier because you've got an inventory management system in place that is telling you, oh no, we oversold something. We've got to go buy it, either to fulfill the oversold order to the customer, or we have to cancel that order as delicately as we can to resolve that problem. So gives you kind of some visibility of that, and so you can be proactive rather than reactive. And then reducing errors. I mean, one of the biggest unforeseen costs in any inventory business is you've got multiple employees, they're all doing things different ways. And in a spreadsheets are so flexible that employees can do things any way they want. There's no user permissions. There's, anybody can edit a spreadsheet. And so you spend a lot of time in a business that's run on spreadsheets chasing down who did what, when, and why, and trying to enforce the rules of everyone using a spreadsheet in the same way. That's literally what WholeCell does, is it keeps an entire team synchronized with the right permissions so that your technicians are not able to go in and edit your sales orders, and your sales folks are not able to go in and edit the inventory that's in the warehouse. And so it spreads that out and makes kind of a lot of the big headaches of just running a business with inventory and devices go away.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add is just that as far as technical needs or capabilities to use the software, I mean, I would say 20 or 30 minutes, and someone should have a pretty decent understanding. It works the way you would expect it to. And so I've used it pretty extensively on our B2B exchange, and then I've used it here, in testing and things with the standard Swappa marketplace, and just it's very easy and intuitive. And so it's just having those multiple people using it, it's just a great way to keep that synced up. But even if you're just a single person on your own, I still think it's a huge force multiplier in and of itself. So. All right, well, we'll move on here. Just a quick thing. If you want to request incoming inventory for your account on Swappa, there's no cost for it whatsoever. Just send us an email, help+bizdev@swappa.com. And if you could include your account link, that way we don't have to go digging for it, would be helpful. But that's, there's no cost for that. And then with WholeCell, we'll definitely get a link here with the video when we get this posted. Again, this is a rebroadcast, but we'll put the link there as well for the to sign up for WholeCell. They've got a free trial for 15 days that definitely should take advantage of. And again, very minimal amount of time to get it up and running. So worth doing for sure. So with that, I think it's probably makes sense to get into the demo and Q&A. And so we've got some Q&A from when we originally broadcast this. And so let me get that going. And I think I've stopped sharing. So let me just move and Brennan, I think you've got the Q&A as well. But
I do. Yeah, I can start speaking to some of that.
Want to start on that? Yeah.
Yeah, so we had last time we did this, we're just going to go through all the questions that we got on the live broadcast. And the first one was from a gentleman named Matt. Matt asked, does WholeCell integrate with other platforms as well? And I think we kind of covered that in the graphic on one of those slides. But yes, WholeCell definitely integrates with other platforms. We've got a really awesome ShipStation integration that can bring your sales orders with, if you're using SKUs in WholeCell, they can bring in your sales orders and the items that were sold on those sales orders. And so some really powerful integration with many channels, all the ones that ShipStation supports there. And we are in the thick of building a lot of different direct integrations that not only bring in the orders, but also allow you to share your, keep WholeCell constantly updating your channels with the various quantities that you have available of different inventory. So you can prevent overselling. So if you sell on one channel, then on another channel, that gets updated automatically by WholeCell. So you've got a, if you've got somebody hired right now that is going and keeping all of your channels updated, you can actually solve that problem with software. And we're adding more channels as the weeks go on. So yes, the short answer is yes.
Yeah, and their time could be, I'm sure, better served, creating more value.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt also asked, does WholeCell report the tracking back to platforms to mark the order as shipped? And yeah, we kind of covered that. It definitely does. So when you create a shipping label in ShipStation, it's funny, all these different services can now connect. It's cool, the world we're living in today. So you may have ShipStation integrated with your platforms, and so ShipStation might tell them, hey, this order has been shipped. But if not, then WholeCell, yes, can definitely automatically update your channels whenever you fulfill an order. And what WholeCell has that ShipStation might not have is the specific, your entire history of that individual inventory item. Since WholeCell is serialized, you can look up that serialized item, look it up by its IMEI. You can see the fact that it was shipped out on this order to this e-commerce customer, and you can see the entire history, who you bought it from, what you did in the process of grading that device, repairing that device, unlocking it, etc. Anything you did in the middle, you'll see the whole history, which I think is neat. Justin asked, is there a way to sync if we don't commit the IMEI until the order is placed? And I think this is more for larger enterprise sellers on marketplaces. And I think Justin was kind of specifically asking about Swappa. Is there a way to mark to tell Swappa the IMEI of the device that's being fulfilled once the when the order is being fulfilled, rather than when the listing is being created? And I don't think that's a feature right now for power sellers. That's not a possibility. But in WholeCell, we're for places that allow you to do stock listings, we do have that functionality, and I think it's gonna be used more and more over the years. So I think more and more.
Brennan, and on that particular question, so Justin he's part of an enterprise seller.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different process, and so for enterprise, you don't it's not committed until the order's placed. But with a power seller who's providing IMEIs and everything up front, it would be. So I think, but yeah, we definitely want to work with our enterprise sellers to make sure if there's things that they need that we don't yet have, that we're doing it. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a really neat thing. I mean, that's again, just kind of harping on this or repeating this, like the greatness of this integration that Swappa focuses on IMEIs and WholeCell does as well. I think it's a really convenient marriage, and I think that the telecommunications industry is going to go more and more towards the serial number being so important, because it has such an impact on the financials, the financial value of the device, whether there's a lien on the device from the original carrier. All of this information is really, really important. So I think we're just going to move more and more towards more channels requiring that, but they don't quite do it yet. So I think both WholeCell and Swappa have a jump on that, at a pretty significant time jump. Paulo asked, when will WholeCell sync to eBay as well as to Swappa? And I think the answer that I gave on the call was certainly this year. As I mentioned, we're in the thick of building these direct integrations. Currently, you can import your eBay orders through ShipStation into WholeCell. So there's a way to sync the sales orders, and then a direct integration that includes inventory quantity sync to eBay will be coming out sometime this year for sure.
Yeah. And so probably at this point, let's because I know the next couple questions are related to on the demo front. Brendan, can you see my screen? I suppose
I can't yet.
You can't. Okay, let me get that going, and then we'll share your screen, entire screen. Okay, let me know. I'm in my WholeCell account right now.
I'm waiting.
Okay. Well, we love this platform, but it's got a few little things that tells you that you're doing it, but it doesn't actually do it. All right. Let's do this. I'm sharing the tab. That seems to work.
That worked great. That was very fast.
Okay, excellent. So what we'll do, I'm going to have to, I think this will work just fine. I need to toggle between a few things, but just very quickly. So we're talking about incoming inventory. We're talking about WholeCell. We'll start doing just a couple quick things. So with incoming inventory, we can add inventory a couple different ways. And this is different from the standard process on Swappa where you list things one at a time. So I could go in here and I could create a listing just by populating these fields. And that's all well and good, but it's kind of time consuming. And so there's other methods that I can use. So I might want to import some ESNs and let that be a way to get started. And so let me just bring a couple in here and show you. So I could go ahead, I could add these IMEIs, and then I could submit them. This isn't a demo environment, so it's going to be a little slow. So we may not wait on it. In production, it's much faster. But I could submit those. It went pretty fast. It must have heard me commenting and decided to prove me wrong. So, but I'm on my way to starting some listings here. Let me show you why. So I could go in, and I've got the IMEI, and I could start adding information, or I could just click into this. It says no product set, and so I'm not sure why it didn't detect. There must be. Oh, there we go. So yeah, so there we go. In our product item here, it helps determine based on the tag what device it is, and so I could quickly go in here and complete the rest, and be on my way to having a listing going, and save the changes. And so I didn't get a price. So it gives you some good feedback here on what to do, and I'll just it's in good condition. It's going to require some damage information, minor wear, and then it should be ready to list once I add a photo. So no images. So it kind of helps coach you along the way. So I know that this is not the right image for this device. So, but I've got an image gallery here of things that I've uploaded, and with this you can go ahead and use your provided that you don't abuse it, and if you do, you certainly reserve the right to rescind the functionality. But as long as you're providing images that are representative of the lot, and they're good conservative images, so that somebody's not going to receive it and go, "Gosh, the picture you showed me was so much better than what I received." That's not an acceptable outcome. So we just want to make sure people are being conservative with what they show, but a good representative image is okay in this using this functionality, and it'll be fine. So anyway, that's what I would do, and then I'm able to go back and I'm ready to list this. So obviously I could provide a headline, and I would need to, but technically it's otherwise ready to go. So anyway, that you can see that's one way to do it, but still a bit of work. So another way I could go. Let me clear these out just for the sake of clarity. I'm getting excited. I want to just jump straight to the wholesale piece, but I do want to show you the spreadsheet. We're adding a template here so that you could use our sheet. But basically, these are the columns that are highlighted that you need to have, and you don't want to skip them because the system is looking for that. So, but nevertheless, we'll get something out right away, so that you can easily replicate this if you'd like to. So anyway, we're going to go ahead, and it's been pre-populated, etc. And so we've used the right columns, the right information, and it's pulled it all in quickly. And I have very little work that I need to do now, so I can go in. Everything's in here. I just need to add some images, and I would be ready to go. So we'll just do that for. This is a. Pardon me. Allergy season. So anyway, so that's what I would do. Probably want to put a couple more images than that, but nevertheless, so that is now ready to be listed. So if I've got a handful of them, I could just select them, and if there's 10 of them and then ready to list, it'll send it on to the moderation team to review, and we'll be on our way. So that's a good time savings. Very helpful. Save you a lot of time, but the reality is I'm still dealing with a spreadsheet, and what I have on my spreadsheet may not reflect what my coworker has on it, and so it's finding a little bit. There's better ways to do this. So I'm going to just go ahead and remove this. I kind of view the incoming inventory as like a workbench. I can create a bunch of listings at once, and I can delete them at once too if I need to. So I haven't pushed them through to anybody to review. So it's still appropriate to do that in that state. So I'm going to switch over to my wholesale account. Brendan, are you able to see my wholesale screen now, or do I need to change tabs?
No, I think you need to change the tab that's being presented to do that.
Okay, no problem.
Or maybe you can present the whole app. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was trying that and it didn't recognize it for whatever reason.
Maybe the screen. Will it present the screen? Oh,
yeah, I did my whole screen. Yeah, but this should show it, right? So
yep, it's up.
So anyway, I'm in wholesale, and I've got my inventory here. I started with loading in POs, so you can just we're not going to go through all that today, but you can. We'll probably do that another time. Is just do like a full walkthrough. And I know Brennan and team are doing some as well. So definitely take a look at their channel and other videos that they've got. But I start just by creating these just POs that go in, and so we'll just go into one. Actually, I could do this a couple different ways, but that's where I would start. And then I'm in my inventory now. Let's just say, and I want to push. I don't have IMEIs on these, which I probably should have, but I'm just going to go ahead and push these to Swappa because I've taken the time to get all this information in the system, and I don't want to do it twice. That's just a total waste of time. It's a lot of man hours that I don't need to expend. And so anyway, I've just simply put a check mark on them. There's other ways to do it, other ways to sort, as you can see here. But now I'm just going to list them on Swappa. So I export to Swappa, hit the button, and the setup is very easy. It's just done in your integrations tab on the left side. It's towards the bottom. Okay, well that did it. So let me just share the other tab. We'll go into it. And
I think this is cool, actually, where that you don't have IMEIs on those inventory items in wholesale, because a big part of wholesale is you don't need them. You can have IMEIs on your inventory items, or you can update the IMEIs later, and you can still have that inventory in wholesale with an NA IMEI, and that's always an option. So for folks that are larger companies and are processing a ton of inventory, sometimes they want to add the inventory initially without IMEIs and then update them later. And that's a very, that we have a process for that works quite well.
Yeah. So I should be back now on my incoming inventory tab. Can you see that?
I see it.
So I'm going to just refresh it. Oh, look, lo and behold, I did very little work, brought them through, and I can see what's my next step to get these correct. So NA, as Brendan was just saying, that's where the IMEI would show. But you don't have to do that to get started. And as he said, it's not required. Ultimately, will be needed to submit it for review. But anyway, to go in and get things going. It was A grade. We don't have A grade in the Swappa marketplace, so let's just say we've decided it's mint, whatever. And I'll need a headline, and I'll need to get an IMEI in here. But regardless, if I save those changes and I add an image, I'll be able to put it through. But this was far and away the easiest thing. When I go in at these listings, I've already done this work, and these get pushed through, they get listed, they get sold. That will be reflected in WholeCell, and you will have proper amounts reflected, that sort of thing. I can throw in an IMEI here just for fun, just to complete this exercise. And let's see here, we'll go, and now we'll say mint, and make sure I save it this time. And it says no images, so I've got an excess max. There's an excess max. And I've kind of been careful to label these. Just makes it easier for you when you start to really build up a large cache of images. Just far easier if they have names that are intelligible. So that's all I had to do. LC refers to an identifier that was added in WholeCell. So that could all be changed as well. But regardless, this is ready to list. So I would just click it, ready to list, and I'm on my way. So I think you can see that, the intake probably wasn't that much different than a spreadsheet, but on the back end, I'm really going to have some significant dividends, because I don't have to wonder, oh, shoot, did I go and update the spreadsheet back and reflect what I have? And just, you've got, a lot of opportunity for some errors and to get, wrong quantities and things, oversell and the other issues that come about. So that's how it's done. It's easy. And I know we had a little bit of Q&A related to this. One was, we show the format of the spreadsheet that you used. We're going to have that, it'll be in production, within a day or two. So we'll just skip that part. But basically, it used the columns that we talked about. And again, here are those columns, and in that particular order. But we'll have a nice, simple spreadsheet that's available for you. The other one was, there's an image bank, question mark, exclamation point. And it's a better experience than what we've had in the past. And it'll be, actually, that functionality is going to be reused in a couple different places. So I think people will benefit from that. So Brendan, I don't think there's anything else we really want to add relative to the image bank, but I know we had another question about will enterprise sellers be able to import current inventory into WholeCell? And the answer on that is that they can still create listings on Swappa, and then go in and sync those with their quantities that they have in WholeCell. So they can, they will have that ability to keep inventory synced, and they could import inventory into WholeCell and vice versa. But just, it's a little bit different than what we've shown today. But the end result, I think, is very much the same. The incoming inventory is a little bit different, and maybe not something that an enterprise seller would use, but I think the end result is having that synchronization and the orders coming through and all that, and that's the key part of it. Anything to add to that?
I think it's just safe to say that for any enterprise seller that's using Swappa and uses WholeCell or wants to use WholeCell, reach out to us and we'll explain how that side of the integration works. And today we're talking about the power seller integration, but for enterprise sellers, we do have a great solution as well. And we'd love to chat with you about it, tell you how it works, and show it to you.
Yeah, strongly encourage it. And if you have questions, either one of us, but we'll, I think, we'd also be happy to do a call together. Just want to put that out there as well. If you're thinking about it, let us know, and we'll get Brennan and I at least come together, and between the two of us, we'll be able to answer everything and kind of walk through your specific use case. So, and then finally, I think we had a question from Knot. If we're listing 20 devices of the same model condition, is there a way to do all those together in one listing, create the variations once, and just increase the quantity? And so with the power seller program, you're still creating individual listings, but we're doing it in a much more efficient way. and they still get reviewed by our moderation team. But we've done a lot of things to help you save time, like with images, being able to use your code rather than a unique one for each individual device. That's a huge time saver. And so, yeah, this is not listing, like 50 Apple iPhone 11s in one listing. This is doing them individually, but we found a way to save you quite a bit of time. So that what's described there is our enterprise program, and has some different entrance criteria and some minimum performance expectations and things like that. So, but I think you'll find this is a huge way to save time, and will make a difference in terms of just labor spent trying to get listings out on Swappa, and also, I think every business owner worries, did I get the right prices out there? Did I, am I getting oversold? Or am I having to hold inventory for one particular market when if I could have it out everywhere, I probably would do better and have more sales. And so, with the ability to have that sync, across multiple channels, things like that, I think, we're definitely addressing some of those issues and helping you do more. So, Brennan, I don't think I have anything further, but I know that you might, but I think we've covered pretty much everything. We covered, how to create one at a time. We covered creating it with importing just a group of ESNs. We went over the sheet, and then most importantly, we went over how to leverage WholeCell and really take advantage of the work that they've already done. That has to be that. I know that's feedback we've gotten from those that are using it. It's just not having to put something in multiple places as a time savings, and the sync is really, really beneficial. So
yeah, I think you covered it, Ward. On the last question, the only thing I wanted to add is that the incoming inventory that Swappa has built really does add a lot of those the batching features to the power seller program, and I think that's really neat. As a power seller, you used to list things one by one, and there were a couple you could kind of like batch your. Maybe you could batch your shipping instructions or a little bit or something like that, but it was still a very one at a time listing creation process. And now any power seller can certainly has to request, but can get added to the incoming inventory program and upload a spreadsheet with 100 different pieces of inventory that they have. And if they're using WholeCell, they don't have to upload a spreadsheet. They can just click sync, and they can sync all of their inventory that they want to send from WholeCell to Swappa over in a couple clicks. And I think that ends up batching a huge component of this. It's not quite what they're describing, just adjusting the quantity, but you can create listings in quantity now quite easily, just as you can literally from zero. You can go from zero as a Swappa power seller and bring over your inventory either from spreadsheet or WholeCell and list a lot of it in mostly a batch sense. You can batch the creation of the listings, and I think that's a key point.
I agree totally. Yeah, and I mean, we're going to continue to invest in making it easier for our sellers to create listings, and we're going to invest by just look the feedback that you all give us. Don't hesitate to send it along. Help plus bizdev at Swappa, or send to WholeCell. But we're definitely going to keep building on this and adding more features. There's just a lot of really cool pieces of functionality in WholeCell that we want to make sure that people are able to take advantage of. Just some really cool things like with offer analysis and other things. And so just want to keep pushing it forward, but we want to make sure we prioritize based on the feedback and what you guys need and want. And so that'll help drive us. And we appreciate the discussion. I mean, it's a way of us to show our users how much we respect them, and we want to continue to deliver and just make it easy. So yeah, thanks everybody for your time and attention, and look forward to working with you, and let us know if you have any questions. Take care.
Indeed.
Thanks, Brennan.
Thanks.